Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and that's my grandson Ryan, who that's a Holy Stone HS110D that I gave him about a year ago. I have let him fly my drones occasionally since he was 6 years old, so he's pretty good. This is inside of our fifth wheel. He's flying around in there and just having some fun. And anyway, he had his 8th birthday just the other day, and the way I know how he loves to fly drones, I thought maybe he needs one that he can fly outside, because that one there, you can't fly outside. So for his 8th birthday, I bought him this Holy Stone HS110. I had watched the review by the RC Sailors, and they did it in their front yard, and it looked like it was good for flying outside. So I gave it to him, and this is actually his first flight, and it takes pretty good pictures, so that's a good thing. But about this time, it got over the top of his head, and he lost orientation, and it got away from him, and then you'll notice that it started drifting. And the reason it was drifting was because we had a little breeze coming out of the northeast, and as soon as he quit controlling it, it just went backwards until it landed in this tree. Let's look at it one more time, and I'll point out some things. First of all, he was doing a great job of keeping it where it should be in the wind. I tried to fly this after the drone was retrieved, and we had a little breeze like that, and it was all I could do to keep it from just staying in one place. So anyway, he did a good job until it got over his head, and then he lost orientation. And you can see me, he gave me the controllers, and you can see me backing up to try to find out where it went. And of course, I never found out. So anyway, it landed in this tree, and I thought, right away that morning, I thought I'm going to get my DJI Mini too, and see if I can find it in that tree. So I took off, and of course, you'll notice there's a cow in that pasture to the left there, and that's a neighbor who we have never met yet. And so if it was in that pasture, I'd have to get a hold of him, because I don't want to get in there with the cows, especially without his permission. So I looked around in this area, and this flight was a lot longer than it shows here, because I looked all over, and we rode bikes all over the neighborhood looking for it. So at lunchtime, I was sitting there thinking, well, as soon as he let go of the throttle and all that, it may have just landed in a nearby tree. So after lunch, I came out and I started looking through these trees very carefully from our yard, and I spotted this black object, and I thought, that looks like the drone. So with closer examination, there it was, hanging in the tree. And I thought, okay, we found the drone, and that blessed my heart, because it cost $75 and it was gone. And we, all morning long, everybody was sad because his birthday present, he flew the first time, was gone. And then, of course, he felt kind of dumb for losing it. And but if you notice, he did a good job of fighting the wind until it came back over his head. So what I did next was, now that I know where it was, I thought, how high is it from the ground? Will I need ladders and poles? What will I need in order to get it out of the tree? So you'll notice I haven't touched the gimbal, and that's why the horizon is halfway between it's vertically centered. So that way, if I don't touch the gimbal, then when I look straight at the drone, then I'll know how high it is above the ground. Then I'll decide whether I need to use a ladder and a pole, or whatever I can come up with. So that's what this flight was. I very and I had to maneuver between the trees. That first flight, I was kind of afraid to go between all the trees. Second flight, I was a little more brave. And so I came around, and there it is, right just below center, and that little white and black dot. And so I came around, and I wanted to zoom in and get real accurate readings from how high it was above the ground. And you notice I came in at 18 feet, so I'm a little bit high, so I need to drop down a few feet and get better orientation here. And so it looks like it's about 16 feet above the ground, and maybe 15 if I drop down a little bit more, which I'm planning on doing here. So 15 feet, I can probably find a pole and climb a ladder, and that way I'll be able to fish it out of the tree. Of course, that's a simple solution, but the first thing we have to do is talk to the owner of the property. And this happened on Super Bowl Sunday. So Sunday I went over and I knocked on the door, but nobody was home. I think everybody was partying somewhere with the Super Bowl. So then Monday morning, and by the way, this is Monday morning, I took this one, I went over, and of course everybody was at work. And so the reason I'm coming back now is because I thought I had a fairly accurate reading at 16 feet from taking off from the same altitude. So I came down here, and I wanted to see if during my flying things got distorted a little bit. So I came in and landed, and as you can see in the lower left-hand corner, it came out to be pretty close to the same as when I took off. So that ladder over there, I thought, well, I can use that ladder and a pole, and I can get that out of the tree. But first, of course, we have to contact the owner. Now, years ago, I've been a ham radio operator for many years, and I went to a ham fest, and they were selling these World War II field antenna. You can break them down. Those are 3-foot sections that you screwed together. It's steel. It's copper-plated steel, and so I put 5 of them together, which gave me 15 feet. And then at the very top, I took some stainless steel safety wire and twisted it around to give it some strength. And then that hole in the top of the rod is where the next rod would screw in if you needed it to. So I had a 15-foot pole, and the drone was 16 feet from the ground. So I knew all I had to do was use the pole. I didn't need to haul a ladder over there when the time come for me to get there. Now, this is where I wish I would have had 3 hands. But as you can see, it's pretty sturdy, and we'll get up to the very top. So my grandson's mom, she started calling neighbors. That neighbor called the neighbor, and that neighbor called the neighbor. And they finally got a hold of the guy next door, and he was at work. And so he said, oh, sure, just be sure that you throw some hay in for the cows to come to before you go through the gate and go back to where you get it out of the tree. So that's what we did, and I went back and I got it out of the tree with no problems with the cows. And I didn't have anybody handy to videotape the process. But we got it done, and then even today, my grandson was flying his drone indoors, getting used to it, and thinking it was the best drone that he's ever had. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and God bless.